As you know, and as we've been discussing, we've been advocating for the safe and responsible reopening of our city and giving us more local control. We've asked the governor to allow San Diego to reopen more quickly, given that the vast majority of San Diegans have been doing the right thing. Today, we heard from San Diego County officials that the state expects to issue guidance as early as this evening for more sectors of our economy. These include gyms, day camps, campgrounds, hotels, card rooms, and family entertainment like bowling alleys and batting cages. In addition, guidance will also be given for bars, wineries, zoos, indoor museums, film and TV production, and pro sports with no spectators. This new guidance will allow for those businesses to reopen no sooner than June 12th. This is welcome news, and I will continue to advocate for the state to put forward guidance on additional sectors and activities that we are still awaiting guidance on, like HOA pools, nail salons, sport fishing, and of course, youth sports. We've proven that we're ready and that we are responsible in San Diego. So we are ready to go. Today I'd like to highlight a couple of updates. First, recap the week and a message regarding protests this weekend. And second, the reopening of parking lots and lakes. Topic number one, really peaceful demonstrations this week and actions taken towards meaningful reform. It has been a week of change in America, in California, and in San Diego. On Monday morning, I invited members of the community to my office. We had representatives from the NAACP, the Racial Justice Coalition, the Coalition on Police Accountability and Transparency, and representatives from our faith-based community. Bishop Benson was one of those faith-based leaders who sat around the table. Council President Gomez and Council Member Monica Montgomery and Chief Nisleit also joined what was a very powerful discussion. We had over an hour-long conversation, and we talked to each other. We listened to each other, and we prayed with each other. And we heard from the chief on a decision that he made regarding the department. And that afternoon, I stood before you to share the news that we announced that the San Diego Police Department had stopped the use of the carotid restraint technique, effective immediately. And it was a clear demonstration of leadership and listening to our community from Chief Nisleit. And it's a change that he and I joined together in supporting 100%. It was a first step forward, and it prompted many others to join us on this journey. On Wednesday, Sheriff Gore picked up the baton in ending the carotid restraint in all communities that his department serves. Thank the sheriff. More than a dozen other agencies like La Mesa, Coronado, Oceanside, National City, and Carlsbad soon joined. Before long, cities like Santa Cruz and other cities across California were joining suit. And just hours ago, of course, the governor backed the movement to end the carotid restraint in the state of California. My office has also been in touch with Assemblymember Mike Gibson throughout the week. He is introducing a new law, Assembly Bill 1196, to prohibit the carotid restraint. This state bill to end the use of the carotid restraint in California has my full support, and it has my full endorsement. And I know Chief Nisleit feels the same way. The adoption of this bill, I believe, could set a new national standard. And I want to thank City Council President Georgette Gomez, Councilmember Montgomery, Chief Nisleit, and all of the community leaders in San Diego for helping to lead this positive change. This was a week where we heard from the community, not only on the streets, but online. Listening, of course, is the first step to building a better and a stronger relationship. So I called 3 virtual meetings to hear from the public. Meetings were held by our Human Relations Commission, the Citizens Advisory Board on Police Community Relations, and the Community Review Board on Police Practices. In between those meetings, literally thousands of comments were submitted. There was a discussion on real and tangible actions we could take here in San Diego, as well as additional police de-escalation measures that we could be adopted. It will take all of us, every San Diegan, of every background and every ethnicity, to restore trust between police and our communities and to enhance that trust. I want to really thank all San Diegans for joining that effort by participating in these meetings and making a difference. And before I turn it over to Bishop Benson, just to remark that last night we saw one of the largest peaceful protests yet in San Diego. More than 2,500 people. We expect more this weekend. And I encourage all San Diegans to keep them peaceful, just like the protests around Balboa Park last night. We do not want to see, and we will not tolerate violence, some of what we saw in the evening hours on Sunday. But the community, the protesters, myself, we're united. We're united in condemning any acts of violence against any people or any property. Bishop Benson, and we're going to hear from him in just a second, will help continue with that message on working together as one community. So Bishop Benson, thank you for all of your work, not just this past week, but for the past several years, and everything that Pastors on Point has continued to do in our city. Pastors on Point is an organization comprised of San Diego pastors of various denominations. And the goal of the organization is committed to working to create a better quality of life for our entire city and, of course, all of their congregations. Bishop Benson also sits on the faith-based advisory board for the city of San Diego. Bishop, thank you for your active participation. Thank you for being a leader. Thank you for helping us to shepherd our reforms in our city. And thank you for working very closely. It means a huge difference. Please come up and say a few words.
First of all, giving honor to God, who is definitely the head of our life, and we thank God for this ordained moment where all of the healthy, nonviolent protesting has been a benefit to grabbing the ears of those who have the authority and the power to make reform change. We thank God for our mayor and our council president and all of her colleagues who were able to sit down and look at some of the injustice that was easily and able to look at and maneuver and make change. This is the opportunity, San Diego, where we have the ears and the passion and the compassionate ones at the table to be able to listen to us and hear what we've been yelling. I like the fact that we're coming together not just as a race, but of all colors that we've seen come together, working together. I've never seen such an awesome move where those who are concerned about the happiness of this city. We thank God for even the grassroots organizations and our youth who have come together in a nonviolent way to make sure that our voices are heard. And this week, we are sure that our voices have been heard. We have seen instant changes made, and we know we have a long way to go. But the fact that we have made the first step in the right direction and have become one of the leading cities under the quarterbacking of our mayor to make changes. Now we have the opportunity to rewrite the playbook. We have the opportunity to revamp the script. We have the opportunity to be one San Diego. So continue to march because we're being heard. Please be nonviolent. Make sure that we come together and unified of all races and ethnicities, because I believe that this is the opportune moment for us to make significant change, not only in San Diego, not only in California, but all over the United States. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for making us the #1 trailblazer in the United States.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you for your words and your actions. Second topic today is the reopening of our parking lots and lakes. All neighborhood parking lots are now at full capacity, and starting June 9th, our beach parking lots will be opening at full capacity as well. San Diegans, thank you for continuing to do a good job of following the stay-at-home ordinance, practicing physical distancing, wearing your face coverings. It was these actions that really have allowed us to beat back the virus from continuing to spread. and flatten that curve, which we have done so very well in our city and our county. Our continued momentum gives us the ability, of course, to do more and work towards reopening our economy safely, responsibly, with all of our public health officials helping to lead the way. Earlier today, we announced the city and the county have been working together to reopen additional lakes and reservoirs under the care of the city of San Diego. On your screen, you can see the reopening schedule is as follows. El Capitan Reservoir will open tomorrow. Upper Otay Reservoir also tomorrow. San Vicente Reservoir will be open on Saturday, June 13th. Lake Hodges Reservoir will be Wednesday, July 1st. Sutherland Reservoir Friday, July 3rd. And Barrett Reservoir Wednesday, July 8th. New safety and cleaning protocols recently introduced as the city reopened. We've done this at Miramar, Murray, and Lower Otay reservoirs are still in place. All of the reservoirs now are going to be open for regular business hours. You can do walking, jogging, cycling, fishing, and boating. And of course, normal fishing and boating fees will apply. And reopening the lakes, reopening our reservoirs was the work of a lot of regional coordination and a tentative cost-sharing solution. This solution is going to keep our lakes and reservoirs open now while a long-term solution is worked out. That's what all of us wanted. I'd like to particularly thank City Council Member Scott Sherman. I want to thank County Supervisor Diane Jacob, and I want to thank Poway Mayor Steve Voss for all of their help in helping us to get to this resolution today. I think it's going to mean a lot to a lot of families out there in the coming days and weeks. Hope to see everybody out there enjoying it. Thank you for continuing to do the right thing, San Diego. Thank you for continuing to do the right thing responsibly, peacefully, and that's what our city is all about. Thank you.
And today's first question comes from Anthony Pura with ABC 10 News.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi, Anthony.
I know we're still waiting on. Hi, I know that we're still waiting on the state for official details for reopening gyms, bars, and schools, but have you gotten any insight at all yet on whether San Diego will meet the necessary qualifications to take part in the reopening? And do you have any insight on what the guidelines for reopening the gyms, bars, and schools will look like yet at this point?
No, thank you, Anthony. We're expecting to get those guidelines sometime today or tonight from the governor. To answer that question, from what we've been doing, preparing as a county, I believe we are ready. All of those, particularly gyms and others, have been putting their plans together, the precautions. Once we get those guidelines, we will be able to obviously get those out right away. Our county and our county public health officer will help make that determination as to whether we meet those requirements. As I said, I'm very optimistic that we will, and really look forward to getting back. All San Diegans, I think, are going to be getting back to do these activities. And I think it's also important, as we have set that tone and that trend from all of our business reopening groups, Anthony, to put these ideas, suggestions forward, not only here for us locally, but offer them to the state. We're all talking about going back to business, not the way things were done before, but it's a new normal. And we have shown by what we've been opening with our small business, our retail, our restaurants, San Diegans take this seriously. They're following the new guidelines. And as I said before, that allows us to keep the gains that we've made and not go backward. I think that was our only question. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, San Diegans. Stay healthy. Stay safe. I look forward to next week. Thank you.